Mr. Supposed wannabe fake all-star with the big miss. Wannabe all-star, let me keep it that way. He's in his second year. He's a very good player. He's not going to make the all-star team. A guy like...
He had some stuff to say last year. It's all done and over. It was the first time I've seen him since then, so I had to say something.
I want to apologize personally to Tyrese Haliburton. He's a wonderful young player. He's definitely in the all-star conversation.
Tyrese Haliburton, he got into pretty much a war of words with legend Wally Szczerbiak. I feel like Wally don't get enough respect. He do a lot of big things for the New York Knicks. We all know with the color commentary, it gets very electric. Shout out Wally, doing big things for the Garden. But he did say some things about Mr. Tyrese Haliburton. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've been living under a rock, Tyrese Haliburton has been just igniting the NBA. He is having himself a career year. He was in the play-in title game against the Lakers. It would have been unbelievable if they could have sealed that deal. It would have just added to more and more what he has been doing and accomplishing this season. We're gonna break it all down. Wally Szczerbiak said he called Tyrese Haliburton a wannabe all-star, ladies and gentlemen, and it has prompted everybody to lose their minds. Tyrese this season is averaging 24 points per game, shooting 50% from the field, 41% from three, 4 rebounds, 12 assists, 1 steal, and a half a block a game. Listen, the 12 assists is glaring. When you're discussing the best playmakers in the league, it's getting to the point where it might have to start with Tyrese Haliburton because of what's going on here with his numbers and everything like that. Wally Szczerbiak, this man knows something about basketball. He may have been wrong on this one. He was wrong, pardon me. But this man knows basketball. We all know he played with KG. He spent so many seasons with Minnesota. That's really pretty much where you're gonna remember him. You remember he played for Cleveland. Like I said, but like I said, in Minnesota, he was a 3-point marksman. If people don't remember Wally, back in the days, I'll give some of his stats. Obviously, at one point in time up there in Minnesota, he was averaging 20 points per game. This was the 05-06 season. He shot 49% from the field, 40% from three. So you clearly see the caliber of a player that Wally Szczerbiak was. So it is definitely crazy. So shout out to him. But you heard Tyrese Haliburton let it be known, like, yo, listen, man, you was wrong on that. And he said this was the first time he was able to get a clear eye view of him, but it is what it is at the end of the day. He was definitely wrong for calling him a wannabe all-star, a fake all-star. I don't know why all that venom was towards him, but a lot of people was wrong about Tyrese Haliburton. If you've been living under a rock, Tyrese Haliburton, he started his career up there in Sacktown. It seemed like it wasn't going to gel right between him and obviously what was going on with De'Aaron Fox. They had to make a decision, because the way Haliburton was playing, you couldn't continue to saddle him. He had to get some playing time, and you see now as he gets the reins up here in Indy, he's starting to electrify. I wish that Sacramento, they could have worked this out, but it is what it is. Both teams, I say, won. But Tyrese, who would have seen this coming? Where he's and they don't have electrifying talent. We talking Obi Toppin, Buddy Hield. The best thing they got over there, obviously, is Miles Turner. Miles Turner is the truth. But what Tyrese is doing is elevating this roster. I think it's disheartening to call him a wannabe. He's far from that. He's a bona fide all-star, to say the least. And like I said, I think it makes a lot of people uncomfortable. The resurgence of Tyrese Haliburton, because you got to move some people over now. You got this man doing 20 assists back to back. Against the Bulls and the Knicks, both teams scratching and clawing for position. These teams ain't just laying it out saying, "Here you go, please carve us up with the assist." There's not like that's happening like that. This man is literally out there imposing his will on the defense, and putting up a bucket load of points as well. So it's all about how far they could take this. Now, if you looking at the coach Rick Carlisle, Luka Doncic ran up the numbers as well, in this Rick Carlisle system. So I'm starting to see some similarities, in terms of the way Rick Carlisle just gives the keys to the staff. Luka Doncic with Mr. Triple Doubles every single night. Now you're seeing the same thing here. It's all about now where are the Indiana Pacers going to take this? As you look at the conference, are they seriously going to be a threat out in the East? Where do you see them? They're seventh. Right now they're behind the New York Knicks. It's a long season to go. If the season stopped right now, obviously, can you see them? Can you see them beating the Bucks? No, they can't beat Philly. They can't beat Milwaukee, and they can't beat Boston. Can they beat Miami? Absolutely not. Let me tell you something right now. We all know the Heat in the playoffs. They just transform. They're like transformers. So just get Miami to the postseason, and ain't nobody just gonna walk over Miami. They could be the eighth seed. That you better take them very seriously. There's something about Miami and the playoffs that is like they just come alive. Last year they battled from the play-in all the way to the finals. So I mean, you see what's going on here. It doesn't make any sense. But as I see Indiana 17 and 14, they very well could miss the playoffs this year. As electrifying as Tyrese Haliburton is played, they very well could miss the postseason. You understand? In a play-in scenario, can they beat Atlanta? We listen. Trae Young transforms in the postseason. Can they beat the Raptors? I mean, in a play-in, scenario where I mean they probably could. The Chicago. I don't know. So this team could very well miss it all, but I don't see that happening. I would like for them to put a guy next to Tyrese, because I think when you got a guy putting up these assist numbers, you gotta figure out some extra weaponry to put next to him to enhance his game even more. He's ready to dish it. So star players should want to get with a guy like this. I understand the market is Indiana, but you should want to play with a guy that's willing to get you that basketball. And Tyrese Haliburton has proven to be one of the elite playmakers in the game today. Shout out Tyrese Haliburton. I'm very excited, for his progression in the NBA. Let's see, the sky's the limit for him. We all know he was in that draft class. LaMelo Ball, Anthony Edwards, and company. Those three are pretty much, like I said, they got the same deal. And those three are going to be pretty much looked at and watched. So let's see what happens. Let's see where they could take it. I think they all have a wonderful relationship with one another, but it's competitiveness at the end of the day. Nonetheless, it's Flight Sports. Wally was clearly wrong. We're going to break it down. It's Flight Sports TV.